We're gonna turn something that comes directly from your HD camera on your drone, for example GoPro, maybe DJI Air unit or even Caddie Snail Moonlight, and turn it into something slightly more cinematic. And by the cinematic I mean something cinema-like. No, there is not a chance we're gonna make those cameras look like expensive film cameras or maybe even mirrorless cameras, but we are just gonna make them look better. Let's be honest, all the cameras we use on our FPV drones are not cinema quality. They are far away from the something that even resembles the camera quality. And no, it's not about resolution. It's mostly about the dynamic range and color science. Yes, with color science we can improve things a little, but the dynamic range, we ain't gonna fix that. So, let's go! I recorded some FPV footage with the Caddie Snail GoFilm 20 and we are gonna turn it into something, well, better suited for the presentation. And the best part is that the software we are going to use today is free, because it's gonna be the Gyroflow and the DaVinci Resolve. And that's the secret of the color grading FPV footage. Just give it a few tiny plugins to make it look more cinematic. No film production crew will probably ever accept what you create, but to be honest, if we compare what was available on the market like 20 years ago, I bet every filmmaker 20 years ago would kill for something that you can produce by yourself with your teeny tiny drone at home. By the way, why don't you subscribe to the FPV University newsletter? It's free, it has useful information in your inbox every month, and well, what's really stopping you? When we have our flight footage recorded and downloaded to your local drive together with the stabilization data, we can start looking at what's going on. This is the raw footage. As you can see, it's not very smooth, colors are well kinda washed out, and it lacks some details. The detail number one is that of course it's missing some stabilization. Fear not, Gyroflow is here. By the way, this is not a full tutorial on the Gyroflow, we are just going to use it in the simplest way possible. So let's just drop our video to the Gyroflow. Let's confirm that the Gyroflow correctly loaded the lens profile. By the way, lens correction is also very important. Let's make sure that we have the stabilization default, dynamic zooming, and let's not exaggerate with the smoothness. Too much smoothness will not really look that great, so my personal preference is the flight is not really like super bumpy. I try to keep the stabilization on about 0.2. We want to smooth the edges, not really make everything butter smooth. So 0.2, let's run a preview if this is working like expected. Yeah, looks much smoother than before, and without thinking too much, let's just export the file. Having a fast graphical card helps a lot. Once our FPV footage is stabilized with the Gyroflow, let's go to the DaVinci Resolve and let's start having fun. By the way, I'm using the DaVinci Resolve Studio, which is not a free software. The DaVinci Resolve is free, the Studio is not. The difference is that the Studio has more plugins, is faster, and in general it's just better. I try to verify if the free version I'm not using has all the plugins I will be using, and I think so. For sure it doesn't have the noise reduction plugin, so we won't be using noise reduction at all, but seems like motion blur, halation and vignette plugins are available in the free version. So let's go! In DaVinci Resolve, let's go to the Media tab and let's drag and drop our stabilized flight footage into the Media section. Yes, we want to change the frame rate. We want to make sure that the frame rate of the project and exported footage is the same as the incoming one. Then, because working with the 4K footage is expensive on the CPU and the graphical card, let's generate proxy media. Just right click and choose generate proxy media. We want to have them because this will speed up the whole processing. The proxy media media are just smaller versions of the files, so during working with the file, your computer does not have to do everything in the maximum resolution, because for the editing, HD is fine. Once this is done, let's skip the cutting process, let's go to the edit and let's drag our flight footage into the timeline. We can start the playback, we can confirm that it's really working. It is. Now it's time to do some real color grading. So let's just freeze on one of the frames and let's go to the color tab. Today we won't be playing with LUTs at all. However, if your camera is capable of recording with the log format, always record in the log format and then apply the conversion from the log format to the Rec 709. In case of the Walksnail Moonlight, this is not the case and we can just start working with the footage. We will be applying our effects to nodes, so it's a good idea to create a series of nodes from the start. You can right click on the node, choose Add Node Serial or just use the keyboard shortcut of Alt S. And let's make a few of those. Our first mode will be used as the general correction of the incoming footage. In this node, I like to do two things: adjust gamma and adjust the white balance. Usually the cinematic footage is warmer than colder. I don't know from where this is going, but that's the fact. So let's slightly increase the color temperature of the footage. Not too much, just 100, maybe 200 degrees. And verify if everything still looks fine. It looks fine, so we can proceed. Then we won't be able to do anything with the dynamic range, but we can work slightly with gamma, either with the gamma wheel over here or with the curves, and let's just drag the curve somewhere in the middle and let's start pulling this down. In general, we want to have the situation where the brighter areas of the footage are not washed out, like this tree over here. With the default setting, it's rather too bright, we want to pull it down a little, so with the correct adjustment of the curve, we get something, well, that looks more realistic. By the pure coincidence, only the sky got slightly better, the green is greener, looks slightly nicer. Sometimes the footage also might require playing with gain and the offset so that everything looks just better, but in this case, the curve adjustment is all that really we had to do. You can always take a look at the waveform and ensure that we do not have clipping and none of the colors is going too high or too low. By the way, this is how the completely overexposed image looks like. Everything is washed, too much contrast, and as you can see, we have clipping. The next step is to add some vignetting. Yes, it's crazy, but vignetting adds this, let's say, organic look to your footage. It just looks more expensive when the corners are darker than the middle. It's the absolute opposite of the still photography, when we just want to have the perfect picture all the time. With recording videos, darker edges are really acceptable and sometimes are even desirable. So let's drag the vignette plugin into our next node. Of course, this is not what we want, because we want to adjust size so that the edges of the image are only slightly darker than the center. Let's compare with vignetting on and off. Okay, maybe even slightly more, so 1.5 should give us a slight vignetting effect. The next effect is the motion blur. Majority of the videos are recorded with 24 for the cinema or 30 for the television frame rate. And that means that the shutter speed was somewhere between 1 divided by 50 to 1 divided by 60 seconds. That's relatively long shutter, and this means there is a lot of motion blur. But when we are recording footage with our drones, our cameras are just too light sensitive, the shutter speed is too short, and as the result there is almost no motion blur in our footage. And even if you put an ND8 ND filter, it's not always enough. But we can easily simulate longer shutter speed just by applying the motion blur plugin. So let's just take the motion blur, apply to the next node and see. It doesn't look good because we have to change something. First of all, we want to have the motion estimation not faster but better. We have time, we want quality, not to color grade a lot of videos at once. See the difference between better and faster? There is difference and better just looks better. The next thing is that our drones are usually moving fast and the default motion range of the medium is just too small, so let's change it to large. Then in the advanced controls, let's change the blur direction from both to from previous frame and adjust the granularity. Usually higher granularity will give smoother motion blur but will take longer to process. And finally, let's adjust the motion blur strength from almost non-existing to maximum. Yes, more motion blur you will apply, this will increase the feeling of the speed of your footage, but will also look unrealistic. So play with this setting until you will find the value that kinda fits. And let's see how it looks with the motion blur enabled. With motion blur, without motion blur. Quite a big portion of the choppiness in the footage is just removed by applying the motion blur. Let's say that in this case we want to overdo it a little and leave the motion blur strength at the 60, and let's go to the next setting. And this will be the halation. What's halation? Let's not go into the details, but this is one of the traits of the analog film. Digital cameras have no halation, analog film has a lot of halation. So we are going to simulate the analog film to one more time make it look more expensive. DaVinci Resolve Studio has the plugin for that. It's called tadam halation. Let's drag it to the next node. And let's observe. What halation does, it adds some, let's say, halo on the dark areas of the footage. So let's find a frame that's relatively bright and let's see what does the halation to our situation. You see, the colors got slightly more saturated and also we started to get some glow around brighter areas of the footage. Without halation, with halation. Without halation, with halation. Halation or no halation is of course the personal preference. I like halation, not too much, but in the global blend, if the halation is just too much, we can just apply this less, then more until you find your perfect value. Short preview how it looks now. And now let's compare with the original footage. With our plugins, without our plugins. With our plugins, without our plugins. If you want to overdo it, we can also start pretending that we were recording with the anamorphic lens. We weren't, but we can pretend. We can use the glow plugin to simulate the lens flare. So let's just drop the glow into the next node. In the HV ratio, let's go maximum to the right. So you see, we have those horizontal streaks like the lens flares, and we compare how it looks with or without. We can adjust the threshold, so when the flare actually starts to appear, usually more is more organic or let's say natural than less. And at the end, one more time, we can use the global blend to adjust the strength of the lens flare. The lens flare should be visible only with the super bright portions of the screen. So maybe let's try to find a frame like this. And over here, here you see on this tree we got a nice little lens flare, and we can even change the color of this lens flare if we want to, for example, to something that's slightly more bluish. And we have it. Color graded, cinematic-like FPV footage recorded by the 400 FPV teeny tiny small drone. It's just amazing what you can do at home if you have correct tools. here's the next video you should watch. This was the FPV University. I'm Paweł Spychalski. Thank you very much for watching, and like always, happy flying and happy filming, because it's cool too.